There's a really great piece on ESPN Tree Hoop this week about Larry Bird thinking he's going to die young. It's by Jackie McCollum. I don't know if both you guys read it. Basically, I guess kind of a trend in the NBA of guys in their 50s and 60s, especially the bigger guys in the league, dying of heart issues. Phil, you're the biggest guy of the three of us. You're 6'5", 6'6". What did you think about this?
I mean, listen, there are many things that go into this. I mean, people can have heart ailments on top of being a big guy, which can contribute to it. I mean, when I was reading and listening to different videos on the subject, I think he has more than just being a tall guy. But at the same point, I mean, look, it's a quote he said at the end is that you don't see many 7-footers running around at 75 years old. The heart just has to work harder on a bigger body. You can train it as much as you want, but it's a tough position, right? It tends to be a game where, smaller people live a little longer. But I don't know. I think in his case, it's a little bit of both, right? There was years of him playing and coaching and having to deal with this, spells of dizziness, nausea, when he's a player having to lie down for a while on the floor, as a coach, diverting his roles to assistant coach at the time, Rick Carlisle, to call plays where he could just kind of recoup on the bench. It's a sad situation, but the thing is, he's one of those guys that it didn't surprise me that we didn't hear much about it till now. He's one of those guys that is a very prideful person, and I'm sure it was very tough for him to even let this out at this stage.
Well, I think part of it is the timing, being that Daryl Dawkins, just kind of a whole slew of guys, Moses Malone, all died within a 1 year, Anthony Mason, all died within a 1 year period, so it was a conversation piece. Justin, what really stood out to you?
I think Phil covered a lot of it, but I think when you're somebody that's been dealing with a lot of ailments, like his back has been a serious problem for a very long time, something that he's had to deal with. If you're going through that pain, it can feel tough to feel like you got a lot of longevity ahead of you. But I certainly don't think it's being tall is a death sentence or anything like that. I mean, look at Bill Russell talking about someone that's basically kind of Larry Bird's height, a little bit taller. He's lived a very long, healthy life. I think it's just about how you take care of yourself. You know what? Stress is a major killer too. So I think that might be a factor for guys that did have long, lengthy NBA careers, especially post-playing days. As a coach, I think the pressure that they put themselves under, long nights without sleep, all that really do play a factor.
Travel, lots of travel.
Lots of travel, but I'm not a doctor. I'm probably hilariously underqualified to be speaking on the topic, but as far as kind of a layman looking at the situation, these are the kind of things that at least I would question, or that kind of jump out to me that would lead me to believe or lead me to think why he made that statement.
Phil, I think the NBA is one of the most, progressive leagues in professional sports. I mean, you see these CTE concussion problems in other sports and commissioners backing away from it. Whereas here in the NBA, Adam Silver has pushed aggressively to get, cardiology specialists, get people to see these guys. I mean, how are you taking this?
Well, I think on top of anything else, it's the NBA's ability to be one step ahead of the game. Where this is one thing they've had on the NFL and are kind of, because in terms of ratings, fandom, and all that, the NFL is king in the United States. But basketball has progressively been getting better and better and more popular, and I think a lot of it is the NBA has learned from the mistakes of the NFL, and they're going ahead and saying, listen, we don't want to lose a potential fan base to this whole issue. I mean, the whole Will Smith Concussion movie that's coming out is brutal to the NFL right now. So the NBA's ability to stand out saying we are looking after our players, I mean, number one, is only going to help in any conversations with the Players Association, but number two is going to maintain that fandom because they know at least the players as human beings are being respected.